Did Ash know? Now, most people will watch this video going, well, I'm sure this is obvious. Yes, he did know. I am going to try and convince you that Ash didn't know. From stuff in the film, that's all I need. So, before anyone says, the Harry Dean Foster novels were written when the script was still being changed. In the Harry Dean Foster novels, there is no space jockey. The facehugger has an eye on its back. So if you see a facehugger with an eye on its back, you go, that's not right, then you are automatically in your mind ignoring basically what's in those, in those novels. They are exterior. I am talking about the film only. Right? The film only. That's all I'm talking about. And everything that's added in afterwards by all these other films and extended universe, it's basically crap. And I am going to Romulus is on here as well, that's crap. See, Romulus is so shite that I forgot to include it, which is quite funny. So Romulus is shite as well. All I need to do to justify my decision is that a lot of these stories don't make sense in their own film. So Prometheus is broken from the ground up. Covenant is based on Prometheus. It's broken from the ground up. Alien Earth is broken from the ground up. Romulus, Alien 4. Alien 4's its own separate thing, and it's so far in the future, it's got nothing to do with Alien, so we can kind of ignore it, as in, it's so far in the future, whatever they say in that doesn't affect the past. So, let me just get on with it. The arguments are that Ash was sent to the Nostromo undercover as this, this negative element to secure. It's a negative element in the story, I should say, to secure a sample and return it to Earth. And people believe that that was all of the intention, right? The intention was, we know this alien is there, and we're going to send this undercover element to ensure its return. Okay, cool. There's some problems with that. And it comes to basically down to this question. If that is true, what did Ash know? Like, how would the company be aware of anything? So the idea is that Weyland Yutani received a signal. Right? Received a beacon that the Nostromo can pick up directly from the source. They're homing down on its beacon. Literally is what Ripley said, word for word. So, this signal, Ripley says, it seems like it might be a warning, not an SOS. Mother's deciphered a bit, etc., etc. So there's one question. Why did Mother help Ripley decipher it as a warning? If the company is against you, they would just say, it is an SAS. It is an SOS. Go down, find out. So that just seems odd in the first place. It also seems odd that Mother not only, decodes the message, but Mother also allows Ripley access to the special order. If you're trying to do some kind of covert secret mission, why would Mother allow you access? You do it on your computer. There are files on your phone and your computer that you just can't see. And you say, well, you press this sequence of numbers, put an access code in, you gain access. But wait a minute, this is an AI. Mother is meant to be an AI that is... and we know that Mother's meant to be an AI because Dallas asks questions to Mother to calculate in a conversational way. So it's either a true, sentient thing, or it's just really, 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 really intelligent computer. But regardless, it means that Mother has been told to hide all of this stuff from the crew, but then shows the crew that exact information. So what that makes Mother is stupid. Right? That means Mother is just a stupid element. The AI is dumb. It's just fucked up. Right? I don't like that. Why? This is a very well written story. I don't think that Mother is stupid. That's retarded. But with Mother helping Ripley, now some people might say, I can kind of see the rebuttal to this. Yeah, but it was already too late by then. So what you're saying is Mother is calculating these things and going, oh, wait, oh, the alien's fully running around now. Now I can tell Ripley. That just seems so far-fetched, it's ridiculous. Mother also destroys the ship. Right? So Mother not only allows the ship to be destroyed, but Ripley turns the cooling back on just in time, and Mother continues the countdown and just allows it to go, it wasn't like, oh, well, we'll see if it's not, you've turned the coolant back on, we'll see if that can cool the core enough. Mother just like, nah, fuck you, countdown, get out of here, it's going to explode. It's like, Mother has instructions to keep the alien, Mother blows up the ship, not knowing where the alien is. Now, if we are to believe that Mother knows where the alien is, how? Like, that requires sensors, right? And surely Brett and Parker, who fix the ship, and Alice, know about these sensors. But there is no mention of that. But even then, why would Mother blow up the ship, risking the fact that the shuttle hasn't got away quick enough? Again, these things, right, the explosion makes Mother stupid if you think that Mother is an element that is a sinister element against Ripley and the crew. We're not even breaking the surface. Mother has got instructions to wake up the ship. Dallas explains that. He says, certain conditions arise, that's why we have to go and look, which is very much like maritime law, right? In maritime law, you have to, if capable, you have to go and, respond to an SOS. So you can kind of imagine where that thing is, you hear a signal, you hear something. It might be sentient life, but it might also be people that need help. So it's basically like maritime law. You have to go and respond. Now, that's just something that I've plucked out of my head that makes sense with things we do today. In the film, they actually tell you that it stipulates in their contract that they have to do that. That with the forfeit of shares, they have to go and land and look at this signal. Okay, cool. So, with that all in mind, the idea is that Super Ash, right, Super Ash here, he is swapped out with the other science officer at their destination. As they return to Earth, he's a secret element on the ship that is to wake up, and he is, we've seen the special order. His priorities are to return a specimen and fuck off the crew, right? Not intentionally kill them, but, if it comes to it, crew is expendable. They are a secondary concern compared to this specimen. Well, okay, so that's what Ash has to do. So, they land on the planet. They land pretty close to where they are. They have a few malfunctions. The landing leg goes a bit awry and all this kind of shite. There's a few fires and stuff, and there's a few things that need repairing. So they're stranded there for the time being. Okay, cool. So then Dallas and all the rest of it listen to the signal, and it could be jumbled, it could be alien, who knows? They literally have this conversation. And then they go out into the ship, and Dallas... No, it's not Dallas. It's Lambert, Ash, and Kane all go to the ship. So here's the Bone ship, right? We'll just call it that. And Ash and crew go to the ship. But wait, that's wrong. Ash doesn't go. Why doesn't Ash go to the ship? Now, the immediate response is because Ash has to open the door. Right? Ash has to open the door. But Ash only has to open the door if Ripley remains on the ship. Dallas could have easily gone, Kane, yeah, I know you want to go. You're really eager. Kane's silly eager to go on this thing. He's an explorer. He wants to go and see the unknown. He's a nosy bastard. And then he goes, Ripley, you have to come with me. If Ripley goes to the ship, then Ash doesn't have to stay behind because Lambert wants the door open. Dallas wants the door open. I'm sure Kane wants the door open. Ash wants the door open. The only people we don't know about is Brett and Parker, and Ripley doesn't. Ripley's the one that doesn't want the door open. So people believe, this is circular reasoning, that Ash has to stay behind because he's the one who has to open the door. Okay, let's just look at this from a point of view of Ash. Ash is on the ship. The crew have gone out without him. And he could have easily said, well, I'm coming. Clearly, I'm the science officer. Because when Dallas starts to select the crew of Kane, he wants to go. Ash is there. Ash is present. He could say at any time, well, I should go. I've got a bloody good reason. This is a possible scientific discovery. I should go. But Ash doesn't go. So what you're trying to say is that's really convenient, contrived, bad writing that Ash has to open the door where you could easily write it so Ripley just goes. If Ripley's the kind of bird who would never ever open the door because of quarantine laws, she can still have that argument, but Ripley should go. Ripley should go instead of Lambert, surely. If you're you don't have to write yourself into that. Instead, Ash is at the control panel getting all the data. He's processing all the data. That's what his job demands. If not, let's just think and let's just imagine for a second what Ash's plan actually is. I know the alien exists. We're coming here to get a specimen. I don't know how Ash knows the alien exists, but let's just imagine he does. I'm going to sit here and wait because Ash is just hoping, right? Ash is hoping for a hole. That's what Ash is doing. He hopes that in this ship there is a hole in the floor. Just imagine that Ash knows that these eggs, somehow, he just knows they exist. Okay, so Ash then also knows he must have known there's a hole there that Kane is going to want to go down, because it doesn't sound like Dallas wants to go down it. It definitely, Lambert does definitely not want to go down that hole. They want to get out of there. It's Kane who goes, he's the one pushing, he's the one pushing, he's the one pushing. But it gets worse. Not only does Kane have to go down the hole, he has to be able to fit down the hole. Now you imagine that hole is made by whatever means, acid or whatever, we don't know. Imagine if that hole shrinks down to this big, then Kane can't get through it. Not only that is, the passage under the ship is a cave. Now I've had this argument with people as well, is they don't think that's true, they think it's part of the ship because it looks like it's part of the ship. The cave could be an artificial cave that's been made by whoever the space jockeys are. I'm not calling them engineers because these films are shit. I'm not denying that the silos could be made by the engineers. It actually looks like they are, but it's still a cave because as Kane descends, he says the environment changes and it's like a cave or something. So are we trying to, people arguing the case that it's part of the ship? It's not, it's too big. The ship is like this. These people are like this. We've seen that when they go into the vagina openings, right? When Kane gets lowered and you see there's a lovely matte painting, when you see that, it's like giant silos like this against a wall, and Kane is tiny. He's tiny. This is below this level, right? And also, they go in at ground level for what we can see of the space jockey ship. You can see it goes through the layers, then rock. You can see this head torch. So he's descending all the way through some, I don't know, must be 4 or 5 times his height, and then into a giant opening that's like this. And then he gets down here, right? The place is huge. Right? They need a winch. He's not just climbing down just by hand or anything. Cool. So cave goes into a cavern. He describes it. He's there. He says it's a cave or something, right? So, well, that's lucky. Ash is like, God, Jesus Christ, tell me the story of how you got this egg. And like, oh, well, Cain went down this hole, and Ash is like, fuck, Jesus, that was lucky. That was lucky there was a hole there. That was lucky that Cain could fit down the hole. That was lucky that the winch was long enough not to stop here, but get him all the way to the ground. That's also lucky. It's lucky they took the winch, really. But you're investigating something, you might need climbing gear. Okay, fair enough. But it's still lucky that this, and he's also lucky that Cain's a nosy bastard where he falls into the silo. That's also lucky. He's also lucky that the blue mist or whatever the shit that is over the eggs, he's lucky that that doesn't have the eggs in suspended animation. He's also lucky that Cain went, do you know what? What is in there? He's also lucky that the alien, the facehugger, can break through his helmet. Imagine if it just plugged to his helmet and Cain's like, holy fucking Christ, look at it. And it's flapping around with its mouth dick. And then it just gets tired after a while and drops off. It's lucky. These are all things that are lucky. Not contrivances in the film. It's lucky for Ash. Ash's plan is dependent on all these ridiculous probabilities lining up. Ridiculous. He's lucky that they can get him out of the hole, pulling him back up on the winch because he undoes the cable. They must have gone down for him. He's lucky that they actually didn't just abandon him, going, Cain's infected with something. I think Cain's dead. It's gone through his helmet. We can't breathe this atmosphere. Is Cain alive? I don't know, but he's lucky that Dallas didn't go. It's an invasive species, it's an alien, I don't know what diseases it's got. Quarantine laws, Cain looks like he's dead. He's lucky that they didn't leave Cain outside. They could have quite easily just left Cain at the foot of the spacecraft. Or they could have left him in the airlock, and then the chest burster gets out and runs off into where? Space? They're very lucky that all of these actions didn't happen. Dallas could have ordered that Lambert and Dallas go in, and Cain stays outside. And you could make another film about that, about Ash trying to get it in because he's curious, or whatever. But there is a ridiculous amount of Ash just sitting by and going, it'd be right. I'm sure they'll come back. Now imagine if Dallas, Lambert and Cain came back without a facehugger. That hole wasn't there, or Cain couldn't fit. Or Cain goes, well, I'll get the winch. And Dallas goes, no, let's get the fuck out of here. Right, we've done our thing. This thing's fossilised. It's alien. We're not a rescue crew. Let's get the fuck out of here. They could have quite easily done that. Because that's what Cain did. That's what Dallas did. After Cain was infected, he went, let's get the fuck out of here. Something's happened to Cain. Maybe it's like a leech and it'll drop off or something. But holy shit, I don't care. Let's go back home. Dallas actually gives that order. And Ash is lucky that Dallas didn't give that order at any point. At any point, Dallas could just go, nah, let's, this guy's dead with his torch, let's get the fuck out of here. That's what could have happened. Now, that's pretty stupid. So Ash is stupid. Ash is pretty stupid for all of those things. He's lucky that he can override the door. Right? Imagine if he just couldn't. Imagine if Ripley locked him out, locked access out. What's Ash going to do? Kill the entire crew? Then the jib is up. How does Ash know anything about this species? You say, well, it's the signal, the Weyland-Yutani signal. The signal that the space jockeys left, which was, we have an invasive species on this ship. It bursts out of your chest, it gestates in blah, blah, blah. It grows into this big, nasty, horrible bastard that kills everything that moves. Also, in our main bridge room, whatever the telescope or whatever the fuck it is, in there's a hole that's about a human size that you can squeeze down. If you continue down to the bottom, you will find a silo of eggs. The eggs, luckily, you don't need to bring any special equipment or anything. You will just literally get infected. And if you make your windscreen, your helmet screen windscreens, if you make your helmets out of polycarbonate around about 6mm, the alien will get through there, no problem, don't worry about it, all good. That's what the signal said, because that's what the signal would have to say for Ash just to sit back and go, do you know what, fuck it. And this is the thing, people might say, well, what happens if they did get back and there was no alien? What's Ash going to do then? I think you should go back I think you should go back. I think you should go back and give it a go. You know what I mean? Because this is the strange thing. Why does anyone need to get infected? Why can't Ash just say, I have special orders? Right? Why can't Ash just say, I have special orders to go and investigate this thing, we think it's alien? Why can't they just make up? If you're Weyland Yutani, you just make up that Ash knows something. You know what I mean? He's got to go and secure this creature. And then Ash goes out there on his Todd because he's an android, grabs an egg and brings it back, and they put the egg in stasis. Surely that would be the smart thing for Weyland Yutani to do. Oh, so Weyland Yutani are stupid. So they're also stupid. Why does someone have to get infected? People then say that Ash is trying to protect the alien. We'll start there. Do I believe that Ash knows that it's implanting something into Kane? Yes, I do. I think Ash has seen it and gone, well, there's no point alarming the humans, but it's putting something in his body. He's there. I can see it on the scan. And, you know, when Ripley comes in and speaks to Ash, Ash turns off the viewer for the microscope. He turns it off, so he's hiding something by that point. So, then what does he do? Ash then seems to think that Kane's fine. He inspects the facehugger. He's very clear. He says it has to go back for studies. It's not a zombie. It's fine. So then Ash is watching Kane, but that could be just generally his care for Kane, full stop. Or he knows there's something inside him. I believe he knows there's something inside him. And then when the chest burster bursts out, Ash's face isn't twisting his moustache going, things are going to plan. Ash's face is literally, he's in awe. He's like, holy fuck, that's what that thing was. Wow. Right? Also, Ash hurts the facehugger. He gets that little laser probe. It sprays the acid out. Why would Ash do that? Ash doesn't know that... Well, no, actually, in the signal, it does say... in the signal from the space jockey, it also says that the spidery thing, if you just laser its knuckle, it'll squirt a bit of acid, but it will be fine. It won't kill it or it won't die. You know, you're dealing with an alien species here. You don't know fuck all. So Ash is ordered by Dallas to take it off. Why doesn't Ash make some stupid excuse? Ash has already made loads of excuses. Oh, we don't need to do that. We need to take it back to study, or this, that, and the other. Or Ash has argued against the fact letting them in is against the quarantine laws. Dallas knows this, right? Ash is just making decisions on the spot. So he's ordered by Dallas to cut the alien. He cuts the alien, saying, "Oh, just by the knuckle, that'll be fine. We hope." It bleeds, and even Ash is shocked. His immediate... Oh, fucking Jesus Christ, he steps back. So he's not aware. So in the signal, it didn't say anything about acid for blood. At least we know that, because Ash wasn't... You know, Ash could just say, from my scans, it looks like it's got acid in it, so if we pierce it, it could... You know, you don't want to hurt this thing, surely. If his mission was to make sure someone got infected and bring back a specimen, right, through infection, instead of going out and getting an egg himself... then that would be part of the plan. This is part of the plan. So why is he risking hurting it? Ash, again, Ash is stupid. Ash is just dumb. When the alien's born from Kane, Parker goes to go with the plastic fork, of all things. I'm off to stab it. And then Parker... Basically, Ash stops him. No, don't touch it. That's not protecting the alien as in you might kill it. That could also be perceived as, don't stab it because you know what happened last time. You'll get covered in acid and it'll burn all through the floor. It's dangerous. Don't go near it. It's fucking dangerous. Look at it. It's got teeth. It's just burst out of his chest. We don't know what it can do. Ash is in awe of it when he watches it run away, like we all are. That's the thing. Ash isn't alone there. Then they try and catch it. That's all good. So, this is the other thing. The next thing they say is, how do we kill it? And Ash says, well, most animals retreat from fire. Maybe it's worth trying that. Ash, what are you doing? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? What do you mean go after it with fire? What, so if you... Ash has just told them how to kill it. Now, I have heard people say, in the Alien series, there is nothing that shows that fire kills aliens. Now, I'm sorry if you're going to say that, but you're a dumbass. Energy is energy, right? Fire, plasma, all that kind of shit is really high energy. If bullets go through aliens and blow them up, if explosions blow them up, then fire is going to damage aliens. It's as simple as that. We've seen them burn all sorts. They burn a chest burster and it dies in Aliens. I know that's a reference to Aliens, but that was on the premise that fire works. Ripley uses the engines on the alien, and of course, Romulus fucks that up. That's ridiculous, and most people thought that was retarded, right? It is retarded. Fire isn't like... like some people are allergic to nuts and other people aren't. It's not like that. You can't not be... There is nothing that is resistant to fire. Everything cripples to fire. Now, it is about the levels, but we're talking 2,000 degrees plus. Nothing's resistant to that. Nothing that moves is resistant to that. Right? That's just retarded. Right? There's nothing that's born of a human specifically. Nothing that can be cut by a laser on its knuckle is resistant to a flamethrower, right? It's just not. It's stupid that people think that. But Ash has just told the crew how to kill the thing. Well done, Ash. And let's just say that if the alien was flameproof, how would Ash know? Ash wouldn't know, regardless, right? So, I just think it's funny that people think that's an actual debatable topic. It's just stupid. And I will say, yes, the film seems to think that fire will work, and Ripley ultimately uses fire to kill the alien at the end. If you went to Dan O'Bannon, if you went to Ridley Scott and said, Ripley didn't kill that alien at the end of Alien with the engines, they'd be like, are you special? Of course you did. That's the whole point. It's the triumphant bit at the end of the movie. It even says in the script, alien, I think it says disintegrates or destroys the alien with the engines. Now, engines are hotter than a flamethrower, but we're all in the same ballpark, right? We're all in, well, pretty much, actually, depends what fuel you use. It's pretty much going to be the same. Yes, these could be sci-fi engines, but still, it's the premise of heat, right? It works, right? We just know it works. Fire kills aliens. Let's not be ridiculous. So, putting that one to bed. What the fuck are you doing, Ash? You're putting the life of the specimen at risk over the crew. I think this is a clue, right? So there's a big clue here, which is timing. And we'll get back to it. So Ash and timing, that's another thing I want to talk about. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Dallas goes in the vents. Ash does not manipulate that situation in any way. He's just sat there. Oh, I wonder who's going to win. And Dallas could have killed the alien. It's in the future in that situation. Dallas is in the tunnels. We don't know if he just sees it coming out and goes, "I'll have that, you fucking bastard," and sets fire to it. We don't know, and Ash doesn't know. Ash is doing this thing again where he's hoping that Dallas doesn't kill the alien, which is retarded. Again, it's Ash being stupid. He just sits and lets the alien do its thing. After that, there's a discussion. After the death of Dallas, there's a discussion. And this is why I want to talk about timing. After that death, Ripley says, anything from you or Mother. Now, this is the first time we've ever heard, or the first time we can point to that Ash has access to Mother. We know that Mother knows about the alien because Dallas was talking to Mother about the alien. He says, what do we do about this? What are my chances? All that kind of shit. That's what Dallas is asking the computer. It's very the thing before the thing with the whole, what are my chances? So, after which Dallas has died, it seems that both the science officer and the flight officer, being about the same rank, are have access to Mother now, right? Because Dallas has died, because Kane's died. Ripley literally spells it out for us. She goes, you know, when it comes to the control of the ship, that once Dallas and Kane are not on board, I'm the next in line for command, right? We know that's a thing. But we also know that Ripley is asking what Mother thinks and Ash thinks about the situation, because she asks Ash. So it's not a revelation to her. She knows that Ash now has access. And then that's when things start to change. So beforehand, previous that conversation, previous Dallas' death, Ash knows something's going on. He knows Kane's infected with something, and he's going to sit back and see what happens, just out of his own morbid curiosity. After this point, after he's told them how to flame the alien and all that jazz, that's when I think Ash talks to Mother. And I think this is what happens. Ash says to Mother, there's this biological entity, blah, 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 that's doing this. What are my orders? And then Mother says, I've just looked in the memory banks, because they cannot talk to Earth. They cannot talk to Weyland. We know this because they try to talk to Earth at the beginning. They try to talk to anybody, and they don't get any signal because they're out in the middle of bloody nowhere. Ash then says to Mother, and Mother says, looking through my record books, that's why it's Special Order 900 and something. Mother says, in the event of this, this is what happens. These are your orders. So what happened is the Nostromo was rerouted. There's a specimen. Collect that specimen. Blah, blah, blah. Now, all that Mother's doing is telling Ash what to do in this event. In this event, it's computed. It's computed whatever. An order. These special orders might be just in a row. The one before might be 900 and whatever. It's like, there might be a special order like that for Dallas. We don't actually get to see the order before that to go down to the planet. The planet might be, his order might say, order number 936, Nostromo rerouted, go down to surface, explore the signal. That might have been Dallas's order. Now Ash's is getting an order saying this, that, and the other. And I'll explain why it's not his order that he was given in the first place. I'll explain that. But that's my series of events, is that Ash was given the order by Mother because in the event of is what these orders are. This is what you should do. Which is nefarious by the company, don't get me wrong. But they see the specimen is worth more than the shit crew that anyone, there's billions of humans, you can replace them. This is special. So then Ash acts accordingly after that. Actually, after that, we have the breakdown. So Ripley reads the orders. Once Ripley reads the orders, Ash loses it. Why does Ash go insane? Why all of a sudden does Ash go insane? Now, I've had people say, it's because she pushes him against a wall. It's like, if he's that delicate, he's bumped like that probably loads of times. You would never send an android out that's that tetchy. He gets thrust against a wall. That's it. Oh, fucking hell. I believe that Ash is going insane because he's just been given orders by Mother, but he also has the 3 laws. I think Ash has the 3 laws, and it does line up with the film. We'll go into that in a separate video if people want me to explain that, but I believe Ash has the 3 laws, and the film pretty much supports that. And I reckon that that's why Ash goes insane. He's having a conflict of interests. He's been told by Mother that the crew is expendable, but his base programming is saying, hang about, I can't harm humans. And that fucks with his noggin, and that results in him relaying the orders like this. Crew is expendable, must kill crew. So he starts to kill Ripley. That's what he's trying to do. And then Parker turns up and Lambert, and he basically starts attacking them as well, and then we know the rest. Once she whacks him on the head and Ash is incapacitated, Ash immediately goes back to normal. Even though he's had his head knocked off, he's kind of like, well, I'm incapacitated. I cannot affect the crew anymore. I can't save the crew, or I can't, there's nothing I can do. I can't act. So now I can just be, my head's sorted back out again, my program isn't twitchy, and then they ask the questions. And the questions they ask is, he says, you read the orders, you know what I mean? The specimen is priority number 1, you lot are all fucked. And then he says, how can you kill it? You can't. And people go, you see, the alien's indestructible. But Ripley kills it. And then in Aliens, and like I say, they go along to kill loads of them. And we all didn't jump up in Aliens and walk out the cinema going, hang about, this isn't true. Ash said you can't kill it. When Ash says you can't kill it, he's goading them. Right? He's goading them. And he's ultimately wrong, because he fails, and they don't return the specimen. It's out there, cookie crumb. Well, if you look at Romulus, it's floating around in a fucking a bloody conker shell for some reason. Let's not go down that avenue. So, there are other things that also back up this series of events. If you're Ash, and you've been snuck, there's a signal that goes to Weyland Yutani, and Weyland Yutani send Ash in, why would you tell Ash, your mission, go down to the surface, find the specimen, bring it back, fuck the crew. That's Ash's instructions. Why would you then have them instructions written down in the computer that a crew member can easily access? Imagine if Ripley managed to put the coolant rods back in the Nostromo quick enough, right? And it stopped the explosion. She goes in the thing and goes, where's that fucking alien? It's hiding in the shuttle, and she ejects the shuttle into a star. She then goes back to Weyland Yutani and says, goes back to Earth and says, Weyland Yutani tried to murder us all. Here's proof from Mother. That would be retarded, wouldn't it? That would be stupid. That would be dumb. It's almost like Mother allows the ship to explode because this special order has been accessed by Ripley. That would make more sense. That the special order, Ripley has forced a way in, which is already done, but at least some of it would be Mother exploded the ship because she's trying to hide the evidence of this special order. But why do that in the first place? That's stupid. If Mother's that intelligent, why did she deny access to Ripley full stop? There is no file. There is no special order. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm hiding it. You can't tell because I'm an AI. Force the information out of Ash. They can't. Well, for most of the part, they don't even know he's an android. The fact is, why wouldn't Ash just have the instructions? This idea is as bad as the Rise of Skywalker, where an assassin has the address of the person that employed him on his murder weapon. That is stupid. This is the same thing. People's ideas of Ash being this secret element that knew all along about the alien, knew everything about it, knew where to go, but couldn't be asked because fuck it. They'll find it anyway. They'll bump into an alien eventually, I'm sure. What happens if the Phaser jumped at Kane and he shot it because he did take a firearm? And then Kane would be like, get the fuck out of here, back on that hook, back up. He's like, we need to fucking leave. This place is fucking horrible and something tried to attack me. It was like a spider it's like a spider had sex with a snake. And then they'd fuck off. They did take firearms. It was a clever line. Break out the weapons. This whole thing, this whole idea doesn't work. Now, people always say, okay then, you've kind of convinced me 50% of the way. So why was Ash on the ship? Could be loads of reasons. It's like this. It could be, and this is... You've got these long-haul vessels that go backwards and forwards. Instead of paying crew, you could just have androids do the job. Right? Now, imagine if that was our world, and all of a sudden they said androids are stealing people's jobs, people are going hungry, etc., etc., etc. There could be a government thing or whatever between all these companies and all this shit saying, okay, we have to employ so many humans, but maybe Weyland Yutani is starting to sneak... They've made the androids so good, they're not the Working Joes type androids, right, where they're obvious. If they can make them real, if they can make them look real, they can sneak them in as crew and slowly replace the crew. So all of these crews are crewed by androids, and that means all they have to do is pay for the android once, and then these androids can just, fly around the universe and they don't have to pay people insurance, medical. They don't have to pay for the grav couch, the hypersleep chambers. They don't have to do any of that kind of shit. It could save them so much money in the long run, and they're trying to sneak androids in. So that's what Ash could be. It could be that they're doing this thing, and this just coincides with what's going on. It's just a coincidence, right? Now, I know people say, well, what are the coincidences of that? Well, what are the coincidences there was a hole that Kane could fit down? What are the coincidences? This is the story. Now, I'm not trying to say that the reason why Ash is on that ship because of this union dispute that I've just mentioned, there is no evidence for that whatsoever. But there's also things going against the evidence that Ash always knew. Like I say, if you believe that Ash knew all along, right from the get-go, when he got on that ship, that means Ash is stupid. That means that he just went, yeah, well, of course I'll get infected. Think about if it was you. If someone said to you, and you're an android, right? You are Ash in this situation. You need your number one priority for you to get mission success. You can't get around your programming, is to make sure you return a specimen home. What are you going to do? You're the science officer. This is a scientific exploration. This is a scientific discovery. You are sticking a suit on and you are going to argue the toss saying, well, I'm the science officer. You lot are just fucking truck drivers. You are going to make sure that you nudge Kane down that hole. You know what I mean? You're going to make sure that someone gets infected. You don't give a fuck, Dallas. You don't care, right? You don't care. The other thing is that people say, well, Ash wanted to make sure that the alien got in, so he made sure he was at the door. But like I said, what happens if they left him there? What happens if Dallas says, no, Kane's gone, Kane's dead? There's nothing that can be done for him. Sorry, I'm not willing to sacrifice everyone on this ship for Kane. Shit happens, it's unlucky, we're leaving. What happens if that happened? Ash has no way to control what all of these people do. For instance, when Ash goes to open the door, he goes, right, Ripley, I'm ready. And she goes, no. And Ash is like, what? He goes like that, what? What do you mean? He's talking to, she's like, no, I refuse to open the door. And he's like, I ain't got time for this shit. Right? And he overrides it. The fact that he can override it is a bit weird. But number two is Ash is surprised by her, by her saying, no, Dallas gives her a direct order and she refuses. Lambert would have let him in. Why not if he thinks that Ripley's... Why not if he thinks Ripley... He doesn't believe that Ripley's not going to let them in. This is the whole point. It's all a massive fuck-up from Ash's plan. Ash has got to stay on the ship to open the door. Why? He believes that Ripley would just let them in. Who else is there? The three people who go out and the one person behind. He believes that Ripley will open the door. Another thing with the message. Someone might say, well, he says, what's the point? And she's like, what do you mean? It's like, the message might be a warning. If you what Ash says is true. If you stick on a suit now, because we can't contact him, if you stick on a suit now and go out there, whatever will have happened, will have happened. In other words, you're too late, bitch. You are literally, he knows it's a mile away. It's 1.5 kilometres, I think they say. It's not that far away. He knows the hour and so much that's passed now that they would already know if it's a warning or not. And you're saying Mother thinks it might be a warning. Well, that's not categorical. That's it. It is that. It might not be an SOS. Well, it might be. It might be not. They might be in trouble. They might be not. It's all... And this is, again, with this whole thing about guessing. Ripley's guessing, right? The other problem I have is the signal full stop. So this signal, right... A lot of people, including James Cameron, fell for a line that is said in Alien that all I can think of is it's for the bioweapons division. I'm glad you thought that, Ripley, because you're wrong, right? Ripley is wrong. Let me explain a simple premise. The derelict ship has a rat at the bottom of it, right? The alien is a pest. It's just a pest. It's like, what do you mean it's just a pest? It's just a rat. That's ridiculous. Compared to the technology in the ship is worth more than the alien organisms in the basement. The alien organisms in the basement could just be a bonus situation. See what I did there? The ship and its technology, these are intelligent beings that have ships that are absolutely fucking massive, that seem to grow out the walls and have all of this kind of stuff. That ship is worth so much more than the alien in the basement. It's ridiculous. And Ash, if he was sent there, would know there was a signal. He got a signal. Weyland Yutani got a signal. They wouldn't want the fucking alien. They'd be like, who sent the signal? We want the ship. But have you noticed what happens? In the film, it's just a signal. It could be a beacon. It could be... They don't know what it is. So they don't know if that signal is what it sounds like or if that's the signal's broken and degraded. So they go down to the surface to go and see what it is. And a load of truck drivers go, this is scaring the shit out of me. I don't care what kind of archaeological space, adventure, site this is. I don't care what this means for humanity. I don't care what this means for material sciences, for medicine, all that shit. I want to leave. This is not our job, we're truck drivers. Let's get the fuck out of here. This would be like a truck driver coming across a crashed UFO in the middle of the North York Moors. It'd be just like, oh, take some video, then it makes a bang and a pop, and oh, fuck me, I'm getting out of here. I'll tell the police. And they'd drive off. This is exactly what this is. They see the footage of the thing, and Ash is amazed. Oh my fucking God. That's a structure. Don't know if it's a building, don't know if it's a ship. And Ash, if you remember, Ash doesn't get to see the inside at all. He doesn't know if it's a structure, if it's an old building, if it's a ship. We don't know if it's a ship or a building. It's called the Derelict. They say it's a spacecraft. We think, forgetting these shit films. We think. We just don't know. All that Ash knows is that Ash knows that Kane's infected and Dallas is, let's get the fuck out of here. Kane does what Dallas says, and Ash does what Dallas says and gets the fuck out of there with the rest of them. He doesn't say, no, can I get another specimen? You know what I mean? That kind of jazz. What's happening in the film is that Ash is responding to what happens as it unravels. Right? There is no, we got the signal beforehand. Because, let's be honest, if Weyland Yutani did get that kind of signal, right, and think about it like this, because this blows this all out of the water. I did have some baby wipes, but sod it. We've got LV-426, right? LV-426, right? And we know that we've come from Thedea or whatever it's called, and we know we're trying to get to Earth. Right? They say Antarctica Station. They say we want to get back home. This is all evidence. I've got my little hand as well. This is all evidence that we're going back home. Right? Home, Atlantica Station, etc., etc. Yeah, when we get home, we'll have to go into quarantine, all this kind of jazz. We know that we've been somewhere else. And we know that this journey is 6 months. So they say, you know, give me the bad news. Well, on our current calculations, it's going to take us another 6 months to get back to Earth. So we know that they've travelled for 6 months, right? And we know it's going to take another 6 months. Well, wait there. If you honestly believe that Weyland Yutani are like, oh, well, the Nostromo is the closest craft, why did they put Ash on this planet here, 6 months away from the target? How about you just let the Nostromo fly past? Because these truck drivers might destroy the specimen. And that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens. It is a genuine worry that the truck drivers might kill the specimen because they do. If you think that Weyland Yutani didn't think that was possible, Weyland Yutani are stupid. That's what you're saying. So Mother is stupid, Ash is stupid, and Weyland is stupid. Everyone's fucking stupid in this show, right? Everyone. If it takes the Nostromo 6 months to get to LV-426, and they're 6 months from Earth, why don't Weyland Yutani just stick together a science spacecraft, Don't mention them, as you know, that's just retarded. But why don't they stick together a spacecraft with all the science kit, imagine the Prometheus, with all the kit they need, with all the people who are paid off, and have them fly from Earth to LV-426, because it takes 6 months. And we don't know. The Nostromo's dragging this giant fucking refinery. This journey could be done in 4 months, maybe. We don't know that. But from what we get from the film, they've been going for 6 months. It's going to take them a further 6 months to get home. They are literally in the middle of their journey. Well, if that's the case, by the time Ash gets on the Nostromo and goes to LV-426, Weyland Yutani could have set off from Earth and got to LV-426. Don't need any Ash. Don't need any murdered crew. Don't need Ripley to turn up in 57 years and fucking blame the company. And you get your specimen, because that bitch doesn't blow it up. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense if you just watch the film as it states. Just take everything they say for granted. Right? Everything they take for granted. Apart from the paranoid, it's the goddamn company. It is the goddamn company, but he's been protecting it all along. Well, you think he has, and the alien will make a shit bioweapon, right? I'll very, very briefly talk about why the alien is a shit bioweapon. Old alien chops here. Weyland Yutani put it on a planet. Let's just say LV-426. They don't like the competition there. They send the alien in. That is a shit idea. Do you know why? Because now, instead of dealing with a load of people on a planet, you've now got to deal with a load of aliens. And the aliens' numbers increase when your forces die. It's almost like they're like zombies. The more people the zombies kill, the more zombies they get. It's the same thing with the alien, right? It is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. The aliens also wreck shit. They turn everything, they cover everything in goo, and they wreck shit. You know, let's just say you've got like a farming world. If you put the aliens on that world and there's loads of cattle and shit, fucking forget it. You're going to have to nuke the place. You've literally nuked the resources that you were after. Using the alien as a weapon is just dodgy, because not only that is, imagine if you did. Imagine you say, well, we don't care about the world, we just want them gone. Okay, so this alien goes on LV-426, Hadley's Hope, and they don't mention it. But what happens if some people stop at Hadley's Hope regularly? What happens if people come across that and get infected, and then get off-world, and then infect other people, and there's all these ships flying around with infected aliens on? Eventually it's going to make it back to Earth. Eventually it's going to make it back to a Weyland Yutani world, where you really are going to fucking care, and this is you've lifted the lid off the genie, and out she pops, right? It's a shit bioweapon. It also, when it dies, it bleeds on everything and melts everything to pieces, which could include, I don't know, a nuclear core, an atmosphere processor. It could fuck up all sorts of stuff. The alien is a shit bioweapon. A good bioweapon is a bioweapon that you can turn on and off. The problem with the aliens are, they are harder to get rid of than what you were trying to get rid of. Period. Imagine you just fly over a base and they're shooting at you with anti-aircraft guns. You don't need to drop any bombs, you just need eggs on board. Because even when the aircraft... And you drop the eggs. But even if you don't successfully drop the eggs, when the aircraft crashes, the eggs are inside. They're fucking bulletproof or whatever they are. They bounce around. They're literally designed to be really protective. The alien jumps out and just gets anyone anyway. You know, back in the day they used to chuck plague-infested cows over castle walls to infect them. But at least that plague-infested cow doesn't run around chasing you, dive down your throat and burst out your chest later, then gathers up more of you to feed more of you to these eggs. The alien is a shit bioweapon, right? It's just a guess. It's just a guess by Ripley, and it's a bad guess, right? Just a bad guess. And not only that is, maybe it is used for the bioweapons research department. They'd research it and say, this is shit. It's probably more useful for, say, material sciences and stuff like that. But that doesn't detract from Weyland Yutani would be more interested in the alien ship than they would be the alien. I know the film's called Alien, but what's wrong with that idea? That Weyland are after the ship, but then the alien kind of fucks up the plans. There's nothing wrong with that idea. Let's not get into, or let's briefly get into, but I don't need this part of my argument, I'm just going to add it. Aliens. When James Cameron, this is a bit of meta, when James Cameron wrote Aliens, everyone didn't look at Brandywine, look at it and go, hang about, James, you fucked this up. No one in the company knows. They all don't believe Ripley. This is, people fucked this up. You're going to have to rewrite it, because they would all clearly know, because Weyland-Yutani knew from the get-go, that's why they sent Ash. No one said that. No one said that to James Cameron. Dan O'Bannon didn't go on record saying, oh, James Cameron ruined my story because he said that Weyland-Yutani knew nothing. Because that's what the story is. 57 years later, they knew fuck all. And people say, yeah, but Matt, you think that Weyland-Yutani, the company, know about this. No, it's a couple of individuals within Weyland-Yutani. Right, that's also dumb. Burke is an individual. He finds out the aliens are real firsthand. He doesn't believe they are. They go to LV-426 and he thinks this is a joke, right? And then everything he sees, acid for blood, the hive, all this shit, he sees the facehuggers. He's amazed. Fuck me, this stuff's real. She wasn't batshit crazy. Holy fuck. How can I capitalise on this? What's the first thing he's going to do? He's going to return it to Weyland-Yutani. Do you know why? Because he'll get a fucking raise. He'll get a pat on the back. He'll get a promotion. Whatever he wants to get, he will get. He has provided them with this deadly species that they've never come across before. They literally say, we've never come across anything like this before. That's what Burke wants to do. But the problem is, and this is what fucks off other people, is Weyland-Yutani does not run the Colonial Marines. That is made very obvious by the fact that Ripley says this is a military under military jurisdiction. So shut up, Mr. Weyland, man. Fuck off. You know what I mean? They can literally nuke the site from orbit, which they don't need to do because it blows up anyway. And there's nothing Burke can do about it. The fact of the matter is Burke is trying to get this specimen back to Weyland-Yutani. That is someone who is trying to get back, and that is one guy. Imagine what you need to do to sneak an android onto a ship to then send orders to this computer and all this kind of rubbish without using your noggin and saying, well, I'll just send a ship from blah, blah. You'd go straight to Weyland. We've got this signal. Think about what happens. There's a guy on Earth who listens to a signal, who works at Weyland-Yutani from this magical signal that gives you all these things. How did they know all this information? That's not one person. That's not the act of one person. Was he the operator that heard it? Did that radio operator that heard this signal that comes from LV-426 have the ability to put Ash secretly onto the Nostromo, also to reprogram Mother, and all of this shit to bring some of that? The orders come from Mother, which means the orders come from Weyland. The company, not a single individual who's slightly hacking everything. Now you're getting even more far-fetched. The story is quite simple. The story is all there for you to see. And it makes everything fit together. And it actually makes things more interesting. If you believe that Ash is just acting on the moment as things turn up, that has a lot to say about what an android thinks of humans. And Ash actually, he confirms all this with his speech to him before he gets killed. You know, Ash says he admires its purity. He feels attached to the alien somehow more than he does these meat puppets with emotions. Because he says, I admire it. It's a survivor. It does what it needs to do. You know what I mean? It's not clouded by all this bollocks, all this upset and all this hurt and all this shit that I have to... It's almost like he's got a disdain for humans. You know, when Dallas is in the tunnel, he seems to be enjoying the fact that it's like entertaining. Watch them all. We get entertained by watching them all get stressed out. And he's there in the moment. He doesn't appear to be scared. He's just like, yeah, let's see what this happens. You know, oh, Jesus Christ, this is pretty cool. He's admiring the alien hunting Dallas, but he's also, like, soaking up the whole thing. And it says a lot more about Ash. I think Ash is he's just a bad guy. I think there's a lot more you can think and talk about. There's a lot more discussion based around what Ash does and how Ash feels, how he responds, how he acts, how he calculates things, how he sees all of this. You know, it's like the when Kane starts flapping around, Ash literally voices, "This is serious." He's like, "Shit, this is serious," and he all of a sudden jumps into action. it's almost like, why would you say this is serious? It's like he's voicing that out loud, but to himself. Holy shit, I best do something. This isn't just him coughing on some noodles. It's a surprise to him. He doesn't know all of the things that are going to happen. He's reading them as they go, right? Or, what a lot of people think, the simple read is that Ash knew all along, because Mother's stupid. She'll detonate the ship and the thing that she's ordered to return. But she'll let the shuttle go, and people might say, well, maybe that's the whole plan. She blows up the ship and lets the shuttle go. It's lucky the shuttle got away quick enough, wasn't it, and that Ripley didn't fuck herself. It's lucky that the alien didn't kill Ripley the moment she went in the shuttle, because Mother can also read the future. You know, what's Mother doing? Is she just hoping? I just hope that alien doesn't just sit on the chair and wait for Ripley to run in that shuttle, turn around and try and kill her, because then it won't get away, because the shuttle can't control the alien can't control the shuttle. It'll blow up and die. You know, there's all of these elements, and I know people are going to start quoting exterior stuff, expanded universe stuff. All of that we're not talking about. I'm not talking about. We're talking about the film, just the film in isolation. This is what the film says. Anyone who builds on top of that film without having a really, really good story to write in explain all of these elements of why was everyone stupid, Weyland stupid, Ash is stupid, Mother's stupid, they're all fucking stupid. It's only Ripley, she's the smart one. It doesn't work that way. I would much rather believe that everyone is clever, everyone's not stupid. Mother's not stupid, she's just responding to the inputs that have been put in and kicking out the orders when they're appropriate. Ash isn't stupid, he's responding to the situation that's happening in front of him. Dallas isn't stupid, Brett isn't stupid, Parker isn't stupid, Lambert isn't stupid, they're all stupid. Weyland Yutani aren't stupid, right? If you look at it that way, if you look at the way I've described, that Ash is literally responding to what's happening, and it literally is, a ship came across a signal, they went down to the surface, Ash just does what Ash does until he's given the orders, then Ash goes crazy, tells them that they're probably fucked, and then that Ripley blows up the ship, thinking she's killed the alien, but it's in the shuttle, and then kills it anyway. Is there a mother presence on the shuttle? Because if that's not the case, God, it's lucky. It's, you know, Weyland Yutani didn't find this signal for 57 years, didn't find Ripley for 57 years. If there was an alien in there, are you sure it can live that long? What? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's retarded. And a lot of these films are based on that stupid idea. So that's it. That's what I've got to say. I'm trying to think if there's anything more about this situation being ridiculous. If people believe that Ash didn't know. Now, I know some people are probably switched off going, no, you've just read this wrong. If you've come all the way to the end, thank you very much for actually hearing out the argument. I would love counter-arguments. If you've got it has to be in the film. So if you turn around and say, well, I think Ash was doing this, or I think Ash was doing that, I would love to hear it. But like I say, before you type anything, just think to yourself, is there evidence supporting this point, or is it just because that's possible? You know, well, it's possible that Mother was broken, and maybe Ash was a bit twitchy. You know, the H2s always were a bit twitchy. And one other thing, I'll quickly finish with that. In Aliens, Bishop says, oh, that explains a lot. The A2s always were a bit twitchy. That cannot happen with our behavioural inhibitors. And then Bishop recites the first of the three laws. They're not the same thing. Bishop has a behavioural inhibitor. That either means it's software and hardware, or hardware or software. It's an inhibitor. It's actually stopping him from strangling humans. It's a behavioural inhibitor. It's literally written on the thing. The three laws are concepts. They're rules. They're laws. They're not inhibitors. They're rules to abide to. You can break the laws. That doesn't mean the laws disappear. It's a concept. An inhibitor can malfunction, right? So Bishop is saying the A2s were always a bit twitchy. Fine, fair enough. And that cannot happen now with our behavioural inhibitors, i.e., and then he just recites the 3 laws, which is basically the lines at which the inhibitor adheres to, if you get what I mean. So the concepts, so he's basically just saying it for humans. I can't harm you, and I can't just sit there and allow you to be harmed, right? That's part of the 3 laws, right? Bingo. And I think the third of the 3 laws, don't know about the orders, is that it doesn't harm itself. Like, it doesn't just stand there and get harmed itself or manipulated and all that other jazz. And someone might say, no, the 3 laws of robotics, that's not what's in the film, i.e., we don't know what those 3 laws are in the alien universe. We're given 2 of them. Or maybe that's just the one. You can't harm or by inaction also harm a human being. He basically gives us 1. But still, like I say, Ash, I think, well, sod it, we'll finish on that very, very quickly. I think that Ash follows the 3 laws. When they get back to the ship, Ash has a decision. He can leave Kane outside, which he thinks he's got, and he literally says this. This is the thing. He says this in the film. What did you expect me to do? Kane's best chances were inside. Now, you might say, like Ripley does, yeah, but that's risking all the rest of us. But you can weigh that up. Opening the door, opening the airlock risks us all. Space travel is risky. Going in the hypersleep chambers is risky. So Ash has to constantly weigh these things up. It's either this. My inaction just to leave Kane outside will result in him dying. He will run out of air. He will die. He'll probably die because of the temperature, maybe his exposure to the atmosphere. He will die. Let's bring him in. He brings him in when the chestburster is born. This is the thing. Kane's already got a chestburster inside him. Ash might look at it on the scans and go, it's buried itself in there. I can't operate. It'll kill him. There's nothing I can do about it. Androids don't go around plunging their hands into people's chest, ripping out cancer. Give me that cancer, that's nasty, it's going to kill you. They don't do that, right? We don't know if Parker has cancer in the film. Parker could have cancer in the film. Ash isn't burying his hand into his chest, going, I'll get that cancer out for you, I'm going to save your life. It's not the way it works. It's action of harm. It's action of harm, right? So, next thing you know, the chestburster happens. And when the before that, when they're looking for the facehugger, right? Ash is like, no, don't go in the corner, not without one of these, not without some kind of defence, right? You know what I mean? Now, Ash, by that period, obviously knows the facehugger's probably already laid its seed into Kane. But he's like, no, he's the only person who says to anyone. He's the only one who seems to care. So Ash is trying to stop Ripley being whatever. You know what I mean? Stop her getting attacked by the facehugger. He's the only person who mentions that. When Ash allows... so then Kane dies. And again, no, don't touch it, because it could hurt you. Okay, this all seems sound. It also helps when they say a flamethrower might kill it. Dallas is like, I'm going to go into the tunnel now. Ash can't get there in time. Right? They may not come across it. They think they've cornered it. It starts bleeping, and Ash is just letting things play out. He's not right there in front of it. Otherwise, if you think, well, no, that's too far-fetched, then Bishop in Aliens should dive into the middle of the hive when they're all been attacked, but he doesn't do that. The rules seem to be, if you're in the room and I can possibly do something, I will do it. That's the extent of androids. Otherwise, androids would be attacking other countries. They'd all just leave the factories and run out and go and attack that country that's attacking you to protect their benefits, or just to break everyone's guns and slap the firearms out their hands, which might make an interesting film that if they took the 3 laws literally. It seems that the whole endeavour of a load of Marines running around with machine guns is dangerous, but Bishop doesn't run around trying to save them all. It's like in front of you. When I'm here, if someone's about to shoot you, I will step in the way. If you're about to fall, I will grab you. that kind of stuff. And it's more to protect humans from androids are these rules. So as long as Ash isn't trying to attack anyone, he just lets it all play out. And that's what he does. He lets it all play out. And then, after that sequence, Ripley assaults Ash, and Ash goes mental. Ash goes mental and tries to kill everybody. And he tries to kill everybody, and he's knocked out himself. I think that Ash doesn't break the 3 laws whatsoever. And in Aliens, they don't say that Ash broke the 3 laws. They said that they're twitchy, and the twitchiness can't happen now because of our behavioural inhibitors. When we start going a bit spastic, it shuts us down maybe. Who knows what those inhibitors do, but they do something. Hope that makes sense. I'm just trying to quickly, before I go, because there's a lot of points in favour of this idea of the company not knowing and Ash and other people being stupid and being silly and all that jazz. Oh, and at any point in this entire endeavour, Dallas could just go, let's get the fuck out of here. Fuck it, we'll take the pay cut or whatever. They could just do that, right? They could just do that. Hope that makes sense. I'll see you in a bit.